The first nuclear weapon site inspection since we made the deal with Iran regarding the nuclear weapons took place earlier this week, and already the critics have found some reason to complain. Apparently, the samples chosen from the Parchin military complex for inspection by the International Atomic Energy Agency were actually chosen by the Iranians themselves. While IAEA Director General Yuki Umano is insisting that the samples gathered meet the agency's strict standards, others are somewhat less than convinced. Department of Energy Secretary and nuclear physicist Ernest Moniz, one of the drafters of the Iran deal, appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night to help put Americans worried about the inspection process at ease.
My understanding is that they get warned before you inspect them, right? It's like 22 days, 23 days, something like that. Is it longer than that?
Well, actually,
is it longer than that?
No, there is something called the additional protocol, which in its essence means it's the key tool for the inspection agency to go to suspicious sites, which had not been announced.
If there's a suspicious site, you have to call them ahead of time and say, we're coming, clean it up.
Yeah. So, no. We call them first and say, we don't call them. The agency calls them and says, we want to go there in 24 hours. Now, the agency does that for any country today, okay? The trouble is, for most countries, for all countries now except Iran, there is no time limit. They can just roll it out. Here, we have now put in an agreement that that discussion with the country, Iran, can only go for 2 weeks. And if they haven't solved it in 2 weeks, then we have 10 days to provide access. So it's the first time there is actually this requirement to cooperate.
Is it me? Did any of you understand that?
I was lost. Well, I was lost in his hair.
I did.
Well, please, Noah. What was he saying?
Yeah, he's saying exactly what Stephen Colbert said, is that we have 24 days. At which point they can either agree or disagree with this.
The 2-week thing?
The 2-week thing is at which point we all agree to disagree. And then we have another 10 days where we all gather around a table and Iran joins the table, and then we discuss whether or not they're going to allow access to this site. At which point everything's going to be gone, and they're just hoping that the residue left over is going to be picked up in the process. We all said this was going to happen.
All right, so then Colbert asked what's been on a lot of Americans' minds, including our own. Can't they just use that 24-day period that they get to just clean everything up?
Can't they clean everything up? Can't they go, see, yeah, sure, you can come in now. There's nothing here. That's what people who are afraid of this deal are saying. How is that wrong?
There have been allusions to throwing drugs down the toilet.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way with nuclear material. So
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
First of all, we already have a history of catching this after 6 months, let alone 24 days. Secondly, we've done experiments in our laboratories. It's really, really hard to clean up nuclear particles.
Okay, so here's where I do get a little bit confused. I buy what the Secretary said on that last part. I do believe that it's hard to clean up nuclear materials in just 24 days. It stays longer. But if the Iranians are picking the samples that are being tested, how do we even know that it came from that facility?
This is a fixed fight, right? You're right. I can't stop looking at his hair. And I keep saying,
he does need a haircut.
Did they dig up John Adams and then decide to put him, is this the reincarnated
I feel like my
version?
parents when I was in college, but cut your hair, man.
We used this example before, I'm going to use it again. This is like giving Tom Brady and the New England Patriots the right to inspect the balls before they take the field. This is a fixed fight, Ricky.
I mean, I want to make the argument for the administration. I do. I don't know how to make that argument because I'm not going to make an argument where logic completely fails. I will buy the part that those 24 days will not cover up a nuclear signature. But if you're just bringing samples out to me, they may have come from your mother-in-law's living room.
That's right. It's like faking drug test, you know, and using someone else's samples. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's, you know, I saw Chris Christie on MSNBC the day after the debates, and he was asked about the Iran deal, and he said, listen, by then I think that we'll know that they have cheated by the time that we have a new president.
Right.
But maybe not, because if you can't prove it, because if they get to pick it, then it's really just the entire deal is worth nothing.
Is it possible that maybe there's more to the story than what we're hearing?
There is a little bit more to the story. Parchin is a facility where they're not doing enrichment. That's where they're testing nuclear triggers, where they're testing devices like implosion devices.
So there wouldn't be a nuclear signature anymore.
We don't necessarily know whether or not they're enriching uranium anywhere these sites that they're looking for access for, but that's not all that goes into a nuclear bomb. This is the self-inspection situation that everybody was saying was mocked for because it was just so ludicrous. But this is precisely what they're doing. They're self-inspecting at this site. Who knows how many others that we're not aware of.
Guys, we're just about out of time, but quickly, yes or no, will this be a major 2016 issue?
No, it won't, because
Probably
we can't prove it.
Probably not. People are over it.
I think it should be. Yeah.
You think it should be?
Should
Right.
be.
Will it be?
Good to see the trained SEALs.
All right,
back
well, I'm
though
going to
in the
ask
studio
you
audience.
too, are you okay with Iran being part of nuclear weapons inspections? Let us know by going to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let us know what you think. The panel here seems to think it won't be that big of a deal for the election. I want to know if you think it will. Coming up next, we read some of your viewer comments. Stay with us.